There are moments in royal history when a single headline seems to promise a dramatic turning point. Yet the stories that truly shape the monarchy are rarely as simple as they first appear. They are built on generations of tradition, deeply personal relationships, and decisions that often remain hidden behind palace walls. In recent days, social media has been flooded with sensational claims suggesting that Lady Louise Windsor has inherited a treasured estate once associated with Queen Elizabeth II, an inheritance that allegedly left Queen Camilla's son furious and sparked fresh tensions within the royal family. But what is fact, and what is speculation? As of today, there is no verified public evidence that Lady Louise has inherited a queen's estate in a way that displaced Queen Camilla's family, nor is there confirmed reporting that Camilla's son has reacted with anger over such a decision. Nevertheless, the popularity of these claims reveals something far more fascinating than the rumor itself. Why do so many people believe Lady Louise could play a larger role in the future of the monarchy? What is it about the late Queen Elizabeth II's reported affection for her quiet, hard-working granddaughter that continues to inspire public curiosity years after the Queen's passing? And why does every discussion about royal residences, estates, and family legacies seem to ignite passionate debate about who truly represents the future of the crown? This story is not simply about property. It is about inheritance in its deepest sense. Not only the passing of land or historic homes, but the passing of values, responsibility, and trust from one generation to the next. As we look beyond today's dramatic headlines, a far richer story begins to emerge. It is a story rooted in duty, family, and the enduring legacy of Queen Elizabeth II, a legacy that continues to influence every corner of the royal family long after her reign came to an end. But before we can understand why Lady Louise's name continues to surface in conversations about the monarchy's future, we first need to revisit the remarkable family history that brought her to this moment. To understand why Lady Louise Windsor is so often mentioned in discussions about the royal family's future, it is important to begin not with recent headlines, but with the values that shaped her upbringing. Unlike many of the more recognizable members of the monarchy, Lady Louise has largely grown up away from constant media attention. That quieter path has helped create an image that many royal observers associate with discretion, humility, and service rather than celebrity. Lady Louise is the eldest child of Prince Edward, now the Duke of Edinburgh, and Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh. Throughout Queen Elizabeth II's reign, Edward and Sophie earned a reputation as dependable working royals who carried out hundreds of engagements each year with relatively little publicity. Their approach reflected the late Queen's own belief that royal duty was measured not by headlines, but by consistency. It was within that environment that Lady Louise spent her childhood. Rather than appearing constantly before cameras, she was encouraged to experience as normal an upbringing as possible, while gradually learning the responsibilities that come with belonging to one of the world's most famous families. Public appearances were carefully limited, allowing her to develop outside the relentless spotlight that followed other younger royals. Many commentators have suggested that this balance contributed to her calm public image. The late Queen Elizabeth II was also known to have shared several interests with Lady Louise. One of the most frequently reported was their mutual enjoyment of carriage driving, a sport deeply connected to royal tradition. Queen Elizabeth devoted decades to the pastime, and Lady Louise eventually became an accomplished competitor herself. Those moments carried symbolic significance. Away from official ceremonies and state occasions, they reflected something deeply personal. A grandmother passing along a cherished tradition to a granddaughter who genuinely embraced it. While private conversations naturally remain private, public photographs from carriage driving events often captured relaxed moments between them, offering rare glimpses of a relationship built on shared interests rather than official duties. That connection has fueled years of public speculation. Whenever discussions arise about Queen Elizabeth's legacy, Lady Louise's name often appears, not because of any confirmed special inheritance, but because many people remember the visible warmth between grandmother and granddaughter. Yet affection should never be confused with legal succession. Royal estates are governed through well-established legal and constitutional arrangements. Many historic royal residences are owned by the Crown Estate or held in trust rather than distributed like personal property. Other private estates are transferred according to wills, legal agreements, or long-standing succession plans. This distinction is crucial. Claims circulating online that Lady Louise suddenly inherited a major royal estate at the expense of another branch of the family have not been supported by verified public evidence. Nevertheless, the popularity of such stories reveals something meaningful about public perception. Many people see Lady Louise as representing qualities long associated with Queen Elizabeth II: patience, modesty, and quiet dedication. That perception has grown stronger as she has gradually appeared at important royal events. Whether attending national commemorations, joining family members during major celebrations, or participating in ceremonial occasions, Lady Louise has consistently projected confidence without seeking attention. Her reserved manner has led many royal commentators to describe her as one of the monarchy's least controversial younger members. Meanwhile, Queen Camilla occupies a very different position within the institution. Her journey into public acceptance was neither quick nor easy. For years, public opinion surrounding Camilla remained deeply divided because of the historical circumstances surrounding her relationship with King Charles III. Over time, however, she steadily expanded her charitable work, supported literacy initiatives, and carried out official duties alongside the king. Following Queen Elizabeth II's public expression of support for Camilla becoming queen consort, her constitutional role became firmly established. At the same time, Camilla's children from her first marriage, Tom Parker Bowles and Laura Lopez, have remained private citizens. Although they occasionally attend family occasions, they are not working members of the royal family, nor do they perform constitutional duties on behalf of the crown. That distinction often becomes blurred online. Because they are connected to Queen Camilla personally, social media sometimes assumes they possess expectations regarding royal property or titles. Publicly available evidence, however, does not support claims that Camilla's children are competing with members of the royal family for official royal estates or constitutional privileges. Still, stories suggesting rivalry continue to attract enormous attention. Why? Because inheritance represents far more than ownership. Historic homes such as Balmoral, Sandringham, and other royal residences symbolize continuity across generations. They remind the public of monarchs who lived, worked, and made decisions that shaped British history. Whenever conversations arise about who may spend time at these estates, or who shares especially close memories connected to them, people naturally begin imagining broader questions about legacy and belonging. That emotional response is understandable. After Queen Elizabeth II's passing, many people searched for signs that her personal values would continue influencing the younger generation. Some observers point to William and Catherine. Others admire Sophie and Edward's steady commitment to service. Still others mention Lady Louise as someone who quietly reflects the dignity and restraint often associated with her late grandmother. Whether those perceptions ultimately shape her future role remains unknown. Unlike senior heirs, Lady Louise has generally pursued education and personal interests while maintaining a relatively private life. Her long-term involvement in official royal duties has not been fully defined publicly. Perhaps that uncertainty explains why speculation continues. Every appearance invites new questions. Every family gathering sparks renewed discussion. Every story involving Queen Elizabeth's legacy encourages people to look for the next generation carrying forward her example. And it is against this backdrop of tradition, symbolism, and public fascination that today's dramatic headlines have emerged. But what actually triggered the latest wave of speculation? And why has one unverified inheritance claim captured so much global attention? The answer lies in how history, emotion, and modern social media sometimes combine to create stories that feel larger than the facts themselves. The latest wave of online attention did not begin with an official palace announcement or a verified legal document. Instead, it began the way many modern royal stories do, with a series of dramatic social media posts, speculative videos, and attention-grabbing headlines that spread rapidly across multiple platforms. The central claim was striking. According to these posts, Lady Louise had supposedly inherited a significant estate associated with Queen Elizabeth II, and the decision had allegedly left Queen Camilla's son deeply upset. Within hours, thousands of comments appeared online, each adding another layer of interpretation. Yet when royal correspondents and established news organizations examined the claim, a different picture emerged. No verified public evidence has shown that such an inheritance decision occurred, nor has there been any confirmed statement from Buckingham Palace, Lady Louise, Queen Camilla, or her son supporting these reports. That distinction is essential. Still, the story's popularity raises an important question. Why did so many people find the narrative believable? Part of the answer lies in Lady Louise's public image. Unlike some members of the younger generation of royals, she has never appeared eager to seek publicity. Her relatively private life has allowed the public to form an impression based largely on occasional official appearances rather than constant media coverage. At commemorative services, Christmas gatherings at Sandringham, and major royal celebrations, Lady Louise has often appeared composed and understated. Royal commentators have frequently observed that she carries herself with quiet confidence, reflecting the values associated with her parents, Prince Edward and Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh. For many observers, those qualities evoke memories of Queen Elizabeth II herself. Not because Lady Louise is being presented as a future monarch, but because her demeanor appears consistent with the late Queen's lifelong emphasis on duty before recognition. That perception has only grown stronger since Queen Elizabeth's passing. Every photograph of Lady Louise participating in ceremonial events invites comparisons with earlier generations. Every appearance prompts discussion about the younger royals who may one day help support the crown. It is within that atmosphere that stories about inheritance naturally gain emotional momentum. After all, inheritance is about more than ownership. It symbolizes trust, responsibility, memory, and continuity across generations. Some royal historians have pointed out that Queen Elizabeth valued commitment above publicity. Throughout her reign, she repeatedly emphasized steady service rather than personal attention. Whether attending engagements in large cities or small rural communities, she approached every responsibility with the same discipline. Many people now wonder which younger members of the family best reflect that philosophy. Lady Louise is frequently mentioned in those conversations, not because of confirmed inheritance decisions, but because of the public image she has gradually developed over time. Meanwhile, discussions surrounding Queen Camilla's family often take a different direction. Camilla's children, Tom Parker Bowles and Laura Lopez, have maintained lives largely outside the constitutional structure of the monarchy. They are private citizens, not working royals, and they do not carry official royal responsibilities. Despite that reality, online speculation occasionally portrays them as participants in royal succession debates or inheritance disputes. There is little verified evidence supporting those portrayals. Instead, they often reflect assumptions rather than documented facts. That difference matters because modern social media frequently rewards dramatic narratives over careful verification. A headline suggesting family conflict spreads far more quickly than one explaining legal property arrangements. As a result, stories evolve. Speculation becomes repetition. Repetition becomes perceived certainty. And perceived certainty is sometimes mistaken for fact. Yet behind the sensational headlines lies a more compelling story. Rather than asking who receives a particular property, many royal observers are increasingly asking who represents the values that Queen Elizabeth spent 70 years promoting. That conversation reaches beyond estates or residences. It touches on leadership, character, public trust, and the long-term future of the institution itself. Lady Louise's measured public presence has led some commentators to suggest that she could, if she chooses, play a larger supporting role within the royal family in years to come. However, no official plans have been announced regarding any expanded constitutional role for her. Equally important is remembering that succession within the monarchy is governed by law, while private inheritance follows separate legal arrangements. Those two subjects are often confused online. As the public debate intensified, many viewers began connecting Lady Louise's name with broader questions about the next generation. How will Prince William shape the monarchy when he eventually becomes king? What role will Catherine continue to play as one of the institution's most recognizable figures? Will younger royals, such as Lady Louise, choose greater public service, or continue balancing private lives with occasional official duties? None of those questions have simple answers, but they explain why this particular story resonated so strongly. It was never only about an alleged inheritance. It became a conversation about legacy itself, about which values endure after one generation passes responsibility to the next, about how quiet service can sometimes inspire as much admiration as prominent leadership, and perhaps most importantly, about the enduring influence of Queen Elizabeth II, whose example continues to shape public expectations long after her historic reign came to an end. As the speculation gradually fades, one larger truth remains. The future of the royal family will not ultimately be decided by viral headlines or unverified rumors. It will be defined by years of service, public confidence, and the choices made by each new generation. And that brings us to the final chapter of this remarkable story, one that is less about a single estate and far more about the enduring legacy that Queen Elizabeth left behind, and what it may mean for the monarchy's future. When the excitement surrounding a royal headline begins to fade, history often reveals a deeper truth. The stories that endure are rarely the ones driven by rumors or dramatic claims. Instead, they are the stories that reveal how a family preserves its identity across generations while adapting to a changing world. That is where the significance of Lady Louise's story truly begins. Whether or not any particular inheritance claim proves accurate, the public fascination surrounding her reflects something much larger than the ownership of a historic estate. It reflects a growing interest in the next generation of royals and the values they may carry forward. Queen Elizabeth II spent more than 70 years demonstrating what she believed the monarchy should represent: consistency, duty, restraint, service before self. Those principles became the foundation of her reign and earned respect from people across generations and around the world. They were not built through dramatic speeches or constant headlines, but through thousands of quiet acts of commitment performed over decades. Many royal commentators believe that legacy continues to influence younger members of the family today. Lady Louise, in particular, has often been praised for avoiding unnecessary publicity while maintaining dignity during the occasions when she has appeared publicly. Whether attending memorial services, family celebrations, or national ceremonies, she has projected a calm confidence that reminds many observers of an older style of royal service. That does not necessarily mean she will become a prominent working royal. No official announcement has suggested such a future, but it does explain why public interest in her continues to grow. People are naturally drawn to individuals who appear authentic, especially during periods of uncertainty. At the same time, Queen Camilla's journey illustrates another important lesson about the monarchy. Public opinion can evolve. Years before becoming queen, Camilla faced intense criticism and extraordinary public scrutiny. Over time, however, she gradually established herself through charitable work, official engagements, and consistent support for King Charles III. Her story demonstrates that acceptance within public life is often earned slowly rather than instantly. Likewise, her children have continued living largely private lives outside the constitutional structure of the monarchy. Despite frequent online speculation, there is no verified evidence that they are engaged in disputes over royal estates or official succession. That distinction deserves to be remembered, because when speculation is separated from verified fact, the conversation becomes less about imagined conflict and more about genuine legacy. Perhaps that is why Queen Elizabeth's influence remains so powerful even after her passing. Her greatest inheritance was never a castle, never a country estate, never a collection of jewels. It was an example of endurance during national crises, an example of discipline during periods of political change, an example of placing constitutional duty above personal preference. Those qualities cannot be transferred through legal documents. They must be lived. Each generation must decide how to interpret them. Prince William and Catherine appear to be shaping that legacy through steady public service and careful preparation for their future responsibilities. Prince Edward and Sophie have demonstrated similar dedication through decades of dependable work carried out with relatively little publicity. Lady Louise now represents another possibility, not because she stands at the center of royal succession, but because she symbolizes a quieter understanding of public duty, one that many believe echoes the values of her grandmother. Whether she ultimately chooses a larger public role remains entirely her decision. For now, her future continues to unfold naturally, away from constant headlines. Perhaps that is exactly why so many people find her story compelling. She reminds the public that not every important royal story begins with a grand announcement. Sometimes it begins with consistency, with humility, with quiet respect for tradition. As the monarchy prepares for another generation of leadership, it faces challenges unlike any before: a rapidly changing media landscape, evolving public expectations, and a global audience that demands greater transparency while still valuing timeless traditions. Success will likely depend on balancing those competing realities, preserving history without becoming trapped by it, modernizing without losing identity, remaining relevant without sacrificing dignity. Those are the same challenges Queen Elizabeth navigated throughout her extraordinary reign. They are now the responsibility of those who follow her. And perhaps that is the real meaning behind stories like this one. Not who inherits a particular estate, but who inherits the responsibility of protecting an institution that has survived for centuries. In the end, estates may change hands. Headlines will come and go. Rumors will eventually disappear. Yet character, service, and integrity are the legacies that history remembers longest. Long after today's speculation is forgotten, those qualities will continue shaping the future of the royal family, one generation, one decision, and one act of service at a time. As this remarkable story reminds us, the true legacy of the royal family is measured not by estates or headlines, but by the values passed from one generation to the next. While rumors may capture attention for a moment, history ultimately remembers those who lead with dignity, humility, and a lifelong commitment to service. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you believe Lady Louise will play a larger role in the future of the monarchy? Or do you think she will continue living a quieter life outside the spotlight? And which member of the younger generation best reflects Queen Elizabeth II's enduring legacy? Share your perspective respectfully in the comments below. If you enjoyed this documentary, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next deep dive into the history, traditions, and evolving future of the British royal family. Thank you for watching.